a lot is there's two components to this. The first is many of the libertarians here, we want to see firings. We want to see in the bureaucracy corrupt individuals, the bloat. On top of that, without getting into the specifics for obvious reasons, the things that they're doing to you with the court system is not just to you. It is to me. It is to everyone who voted for you in 2020.
It's true.
He's just using a Trump line. They're not just coming after me for my 91 crimes. They're coming after you.
In this video, Kyle Kulinski whines for 5 or 6 minutes about Tim Pool. Specifically, Kyle Kulinski is upset about Tim Pool's interview with Donald Trump. With that, let's watch Kyle Kulinski do what he and most liberal progressives do best, whine about conservative commentators.
So I guess Tim Pool and his team went to the Libertarian Convention. And, you know, we covered Trump's speech that he gave. Man, it was wild. There were a lot of boos. There was a lot of him fighting back against the crowd, going, oh, you want to just get your 3%? Go ahead and get your 3%. See if I care. And Trump ended up getting like 6 or 8 votes out of 800. And he's not going to be the Libertarian nominee because Trump was making the argument, either make me your nominee or just vote for me. All right, well, the nominee thing definitely didn't work out. We'll see how the voting thing works out. But he gave his speech. After that, he goes and he talks to Tim Pool. Tim Pool does like nearly a 2-hour stream, hour and 47 minutes or so. And Trump gives him like 15 minutes, 17 minutes, something like that. At the end, they come on. And man, this was just embarrassing. This is just embarrassing. You're talking to the former president of the United States. Guys, I don't care which party the former president belongs to. If I'm interviewing them, I'm bringing a blowtorch and a crowbar and an anvil, and I'm going to townsies. Okay? I'm going to work this dude, pause, and just destroy him. Say, hey, here's all the fucking war crimes you committed. Here's all the horrible policy decisions. Here's the money you took from this lobbyist and these special interests and the military industrial complex and all that. I'm doing all that stuff. What does Tim Pool do? Tongue bath. All right, let's dive into it. Got a lot to say about this.
Big question.
Kyle said, I guess we'll see how the voting goes. Yeah, Kyle, I think we already saw how the voting went. You and your ridiculous party got destroyed. For all your harping and whining online, it had zero effect on the American people. Maybe it's time to dedicate your life to something else. Man, isn't Kyle Kulinski such a hard-ass, man? Like, he doesn't care who it was. If he got to interview an ex-president, he's bringing a blowtorch and an anvil. He doesn't care what party. Wait, what? Wait a second, you don't care what party it is? What would you yell at Democrats about? You mimic every single thing they say. You're like the poster child for their talking points. And maybe, Kyle, just maybe, Tim Pool realizes that it's a great opportunity to interview a president, and he'd like to do it again in the future. So maybe he's going to ease in with the hardball questions right out of the gate the first time he meets the man. Then as he continues to establish himself, if he wants to ask him some tough questions, maybe he can. But the good news is you will never be in this position. I mean, I could see you getting the opportunity to interview Joe Biden, but that's like the one exception. But no politician that anyone really cares about is going to invite you to interview them. And that's regardless of party as well. So the good news is, as much as this gets under your skin and you whine about it, no one will ever put you in this position. So you'll be fine. Let's get back to the video.
And that we get a lot is there's two components to this. The first is many of the libertarians here, we want to see firings. We want to see in the bureaucracy corrupt individuals, the bloat. On top of that, without getting into the specifics for obvious reasons, the things that they're doing to you with the court system is not just to you. It is to me. It is to everyone who voted for you in 2020.
It's true.
He's just using a Trump line. They're not just coming after me for my 91 crimes. They're coming after you. No, because your average person didn't set up a fucking fake elector slate, a fraudulent elector slate, their words, not mine, to try to overthrow the results of the last election. They're not coming after you. They're going after the guy who did the 91 crimes. Oh my God. He's repeating his own lines back to him. I've had that happen to me before too, not gonna lie. When I met somebody in public and they tell me an argument that I've made that they got from me, but they say it to my face as if it's original, and it's just like, I love you, but this is a little weird, right? He's doing that to the former president. They're not just going after you, they're coming after me and my beanie.
Are we going to get some good personnel in as Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and in the CIA, and see some prosecutions?
Are we going to get some good personnel And of course, by good personnel, he means sycophantic loyalists to Trump who will use the deep state as his arm of thugs, his fucking stormtroopers. Are we going to go after your political opponents? That's what they mean by this.
The jobs we did on trade, the jobs we did, frankly, in the military underneath the...
We lost 200,000 jobs under Trump, factory jobs. They were outsourced. Is Tim going to interject here and correct him? Is Tim going to interject and bring up the bullshit and the lie that Trump told with Carrier? Remember when he pretended like, I'm saving the Carrier jobs. I'm saving them. I'm saving the jobs. What happened? He gave them a bunch of taxpayer money, so shook down the taxpayers. Then they outsourced the jobs anyway a year later. Are you going to bring that up? How we got double hosed by him? Are you going to bring up the 200,000 factory jobs we lost? Of course he's not. Of course he's not. Of course he's not.
The jobs we did, frankly, in the military underneath the terrible television generals who were absolutely terrible, but we have incredible people. You know, we defeated ISIS, and we had no new wars because they were concerned with us. I had no wars at all. I finished off a war that we were in for 20 years, but we had no wars. And we have to get the right people. It's all about the people. So when I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Times in my life, all of a sudden I'm president, and I really knew nobody. I relied on people. Some were good, some were rhinos, some gave us some bad advice, and generally speaking, we had very good people. But we had some that we have to do better. Attorney General, we have to get a great Attorney General. And I'd work with the Libertarian Party on that. I think it's very good because, you know, I view the Libertarian Party as almost a party of common sense, largely of common sense. And I say that about the Republican Party, too. We're a party of common sense. You want borders, but you want fairness. You want a lot of things that a lot of other people don't talk about. So we will work with a lot of people to get the right people in. The difference is I now know sort of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to be relying on people that I didn't know very well and listen to their recommendations. And I think we're going to have phenomenal people.
So obviously, since Trump did his whole no new wars, I did no new wars, I did no new wars. Since he did that, I ended our 20-year wars. Obviously, Tim is going to say, well, hold on now. That's not exactly right. You didn't end Iraq. You didn't end Afghanistan. He had an agreement where after he left, if Biden agreed to uphold it, then they'd get out of Afghanistan, but not while he was president. Now, in fact, I remember the time he went on a tweet storm one night saying we're going to get out of Afghanistan under him. And then the generals came in and said, sir, we're not going to do that. And he said, okay, I guess you're right. I guess we're not doing that. He stayed in Iraq. He stayed in Afghanistan. And the idea that he started no new wars, that's not exactly right, is it, Tim? More on that in a minute. That's not exactly right, is it, Tim? You're going to press him on that, right, Tim?
I think we're going to have great people.
We're friends with Kash Patel. He was on the show just before you. And
Well, Tim definitely got what he wanted. Donald Trump is firing a lot of people and getting rid of the bloat in our government. If there wasn't so much Democrat resistance, he would probably have fired a lot more people by now and saved the country a lot more money. Didn't Kyle say something when Tim said, you know, are you going to hire some good people in the Attorney General's office? And Kyle said, well, like sycophants, people that'll do whatever you want or something like that. Dude, what president doesn't hire people that he believes are aligned with him on his policies and what he wants to accomplish? What are you talking about, man? And these jobs you're saying that Trump lost, dude, manufacturing jobs were gone long before Trump, buddy. Started with Clinton, and administrations from both parties are culpable in enabling that to happen. But don't try to lay the destruction of the middle class on Donald Trump. He caught the tail end of it as it was all going out the door. All of those administrations sacrificed long-term prosperity for short-term gain, and we lost the middle class. Trump's trying to reverse that now. But your party, the garbage party, is doing everything they can to prevent that from happening. And your whole thing about the wars, Kyle, Trump didn't start any new wars. It's very, very clear that Trump likes to pursue negotiations and peace before he goes to war. Your party is the party of war hawks. So you're really misrepresenting the stances of Donald Trump and your ridiculous party. Let's wrap up video.
And that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Well, Kash is fantastic.
Yeah,
he's an example of a good one.
Yep.
We have some great people, but Kash was a great example. Devin Nunes, as you know, he's fantastic.
Absolutely.
We have so many great people.
So when it came to foreign policy, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for you in 2016.
So he didn't call out the no new wars thing. And he didn't call out the I ended the wars thing. He didn't call that out.
Obama let me down. I'm from Chicago. I thought 2016 was silly. And then in 2020, with the timeline for getting out of Afghanistan,
right,
when you tried to get our troops out of Syria, my question is, why are we in Syria? Who even knew?
Yeah.
And they lied to you, and they lied to us about the number of troops in there. And so maybe it's a bit blunt for me to say I want to see people prosecuted for the lies of the American people. But in terms of foreign policy, perhaps is a little bit of a biased interview, but I think you're the greatest president of my lifetime.
I appreciate it.
And ending the wars that we should not have been involved in. Now the fear is World War III.
Tim, this is the most fucking embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life.
I totally respect Kyle's opinion that this is the most embarrassing thing he's ever seen in his life. I'd argue that Kyle's hair is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life, but we're all entitled to our own opinion. But what do you guys think about Kyle Kulinski's bitch session about the fact that Tim Pool got to interview the President of the United States? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.